Camp is camp. It's tough, but it's for me to want to push myself. This is what I do, this is what I live for. I'm ready for battle. I feel like I'm getting stronger, and I feel by the time the fight comes, I'll be at peak performance.
One more. One more. Beautiful. Good. That's what we've got to bring him on to. Nobody can take them.
It's unbelievable how far and how wide sports can take you and the things that you get access to.
Welcome to the episode Anthony Joshua definitely didn't want leaked, exposed, dissected, and roasted by millions of people who haven't hit a treadmill since 2017. Because today, we're stepping inside a Jay's first day of training camp for the biggest circus punch fest of the decade, his showdown with Jake Paul. The YouTuber _boxer _menace -professional -heavyweights. And trust me, whatever you think happened at camp, the reality makes the Kardashians look like a calm, quiet church choir. AJ walked in like a man who just remembered rent is due, pride is on life support, and the entire boxing world will exile him if he loses to a dude whose fan base still uses bro as punctuation. Trainers were whispering. Cameras were rolling. And every single person in the building knew this wasn't just a training camp. This was a full-blown mission to save boxing from humiliation.
The second leg of the training camp. I'm feeling energized, I'm feeling refreshed. So yeah, come inside, have a look what's going on. Tough training, tough lifestyle, rough and tough. But listen, how else would I want it? I love it. So what am I bringing differently? I wouldn't say a new mindset, but definitely like a new perspective. But ultimately, everything new has to lead to a win. So yeah, that's what I'm focused on right now, just winning. With training camp, it's grueling, like there's no doubt about that, but you just need to have a clear mind and be optimistic and run towards challenges every day. And that's how I'm able to get through, is just the perspective I have on what suffering looks like. There's a certain standard that one has to have if they want to achieve certain things. I am working past efforts, measures that I set out for myself. Yes, it's tough. Yes, I'm tired.
From the first warm-up stretch to the final punch that shook the gym, walls like a Marvel explosion. This episode exposes every secret, every slip-up. And every moment, AJ realized Jake Paul isn't just a fight. He's a potential career obituary. Buckle up. This is the all-access they never wanted you to see. This is Punch Press, and things are about to get violent. The first day of training. Camp didn't start with inspirational music or heroic speeches. It started with Anthony Joshua walking into the gym like a man who'd just been handed a prophecy that said, "Lose to Jake Paul and the boxing gods will revoke your membership." The entire room froze. Trainers paused mid-conversation. Assistants held their breath. Even the gym bags looked stressed. Everyone understood the stakes. This wasn't about belts, legacy, or titles anymore. This was about preventing a YouTuber from rewriting the sport's entire family tree. AJ's coaches didn't greet him with handshakes. They greeted him with fear disguised as motivation. They acted like generals welcoming their last soldier before battle. Their eyes said everything. If Jake Paul lands one lucky punch, we're all changing careers. And AJ felt it too. His face carried the silent pressure of a superstar who knows the whole world is waiting. Popcorn in hand, ready to meme him into oblivion if he slips up even once. This wasn't a normal day. This was survival season, before gloves were even strapped on. AJ's warm-up looked like a man punishing the treadmill for existing. Every stride was fueled by the
earlier that Anthony Joshua still didn't have an opponent for his next fight, but he was thinking of still fighting before the end of the year. And we've got some breaking news for you now, because we're hearing that AJ is in talks with Jake Paul over a deal for a heavyweight fight in Miami next month. Of course, the YouTuber Paul has already fought the former heavyweight champion of the world Mike Tyson and beaten him, and he's now in talks with Anthony Joshua with a view to the two of them fighting in Miami next.
By the memory of Jake Paul knocking out people with names the internet still can't pronounce correctly. The trainers kept stealing glances at AJ, whispering like nervous parents watching their kid retake the same exam he failed last summer. They weren't worried about speed or power. They were worried about the embarrassment tax that comes with losing to the Paul brothers. And right when AJ started stretching, the gym speakers blasted a remix of Jake Paul's walkout music. Someone claimed it was an accident. Someone else claimed Bluetooth's betrayal. But the truth was obvious. The universe was trolling. AJ didn't flinch, but the side eye he gave the speaker system could have melted metal. He stretched harder, like he was trying to pull the shame out of his muscles before the media did it for him. Once drills began, you could feel the tension swirling through the gym like fog in a horror movie. AJ was hitting pads with the vengeance of a man trying to erase every influencer who ever thought boxing was easy. Each punch echoed through the room so violently the walls probably reconsidered their career choices. Trainers nodded aggressively, pretending this was business as usual, even though everyone knew they were coaching for their professional lives. A bad day in camp wasn't just a bad day. It was potential internet humiliation at Olympic levels. There was a moment during pad work where AJ slipped just a hair slower than he intended. Normally, this would be fine. Today, it made everyone panic like a fire alarm just went off. Trainers paused. Assistants froze. Someone in the back audibly gasped. Because if he slips like that against Jake Paul, Twitter will declare the end of the heavyweight era by lunchtime. AJ fixed his footing instantly, but the fear lingered like a stubborn echo bouncing off the gym mirrors. Halfway through camp, one of AJ's coaches brought out a notebook filled with Jake Paul tendencies. It looked less like a strategy book and more like a survival guide titled, "How Not to Get Memmed." They studied Jake's footwork like scientists analyzing alien DNA. They studied his punches like investigators reviewing footage from a crime scene. Every angle, every habit, every quirk, nothing was too small to obsess over. Because losing to Jake wasn't an option. Losing to Jake was a nightmare. AJ started shadowboxing next, moving like a man determined to outbox his own reflection. His form was sharp, crisp, controlled. But the pressure hung over him like a heavyweight cape. Every move carried weight. Every feint felt like a statement. He wasn't training for a normal opponent. He was training for a man who somehow convinced the algorithm he's unstoppable. And if the algorithm believes it, then millions believe it too. The gym door opened and a group of reporters stepped in, ready to document history or disaster. AJ shot them a look that screamed, "If any of you ask about Jake Paul's power, you're leaving with dental issues." They didn't dare. They watched quietly, filming every punch like it was evidence for a future documentary about the day boxing almost imploded. Their cameras buzzed nervously, picking up the intensity that soaked through the entire gym. Then came sparring, and that's when the truth really showed itself. AJ didn't treat his sparring partner like a teammate. He treated him like a symbolic representation of every influencer who ever picked up gloves for clout. The punches were brutal. The footwork was sharp. The energy was ferocious. But underneath all of it, there was something deeper, a flicker of anxiety masquerading as focus. Because Anthony Joshua wasn't just fighting a man, he was fighting a potential legacy disaster. The first round went well, too well, which made the trainers even more paranoid. They whispered frantic reminders, urging AJ to stay alert, stay sharp, stay impossibly perfect. They kept repeating phrases like, "No mistakes, stay locked in, and this fight is different." And they were right. This wasn't just a fight. This was PR warfare. This was reputation insurance. This was the boxing world defending itself from a possible timeline where Jake Paul is considered the face of the sport in the middle of sparring. AJ landed a punch so powerful it sounded like thunder dropped into the room. His partner stumbled. The trainers cheered with relieved intensity. But AJ didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He didn't feel satisfaction. He looked tired, tired of pressure, tired of expectations. Tired of carrying the responsibility of protecting an entire sport from being hijacked by a YouTuber with insane self-belief. It was written all over his face. This camp wasn't training. It was emotional warfare. After the final round, AJ leaned against the ropes, breathing hard, sweat dripping like he'd been wrestling gravity. His trainers circled him, talking fast, strategizing, analyzing. They acted like scientists decoding a nuclear device instead of preparing a heavyweight champion for a boxing match. AJ listened silently, taking in every word with the seriousness of someone who knows the world is watching his every move with binoculars. Outside the ring, rumors were already spreading. Whispers about a Jay's form. Questions about Jake Paul's preparation. Speculation about leaked footage from camp. Commentators were predicting disaster. Fans were predicting dominance. Casual viewers were predicting memes. And AJ stood there, knowing his first day wasn't just filmed, it was dissected, judged, and magnified before he even got home. That was the weight of the moment. That was the pressure. That was the first day of camp, and if this was how day one looked, the rest of this camp was destined to get even wilder. The moment clips from a Jay's first day leaked, because of course they leaked. Nothing stays private in 2025. The internet exploded like someone smacked a beehive with a frying pan. Comment sections turned into crime scenes. Boxing analysts started sweating through their shirts. TikTok trainers who haven't boxed a day in their life were suddenly reviewing a Jay's footwork like they were auditioning for a ringside job on ESPN. People paused the video frame by frame, zoomed in on every punch, and acted like uncovering a microscopic mistake would secure them a doctorate in combat gossip studies. One clip showed a Jay slipping slightly, and the internet reacted like he fell through the ropes and landed in a different time zone. AJ looking shaky already, one random guy commented. Even though he typed it while wheezing from walking upstairs, Jake Paul's fans were the loudest. They swarmed every platform like an army, fueled by prime energy and delusion. They claimed that Jay looked slow, old, worried, and not ready for a creator-built athlete. That phrase alone made boxing purists break out in hives. A creator-built athlete? Hardly. But Jake's supporters ran with it like it was scripture delivered on stone tablets. Meanwhile, H's fans swung back with the aggression of unpaid interns. They said he looked sharp, explosive, and terrifying. They posted old knockout clips as if nostalgia counted as training camp footage. They insisted Jake Paul was walking into career suicide and that the fight would look like a fridge chasing a toddler. Nobody was neutral. The internet was split like a custody battle, with everyone screaming predictions at each other. Then celebrities started chiming in. Because celebrity commentary is the jet fuel of every modern scandal. Floyd Mayweather posted a side-eye emoji with no context, which instantly sent gossip pages into cardiac arrest. Eddie Hearn claimed AJ looked focused, but the slight hesitation before the word focused made fans overanalyze it for hours. Deontay Wilder laughed for 30 seconds straight on Instagram Live without saying a name. And everyone automatically assumed he was laughing at Jake. INFLUENCERS took it further. One YouTuber released a 40-minute breakdown explaining why Jake Paul might expose the heavyweight system. Another influencer, who once sparred for 12 seconds and retired mid-round, insisted Jake had the speed advantage. Twitter responded by roasting that man so aggressively he deactivated within an hour. Then came the memes, thousands of them. Edits of a Jay looking stressed. Edits of Jake celebrating prematurely. Edits of trainers handing a Jay how not to lose to a YouTuber textbooks. One meme showed a terrified AJ jogging while a giant Jake Paul head chased him like a horror movie monster. Another showed Jake holding a Pokeball with a J inside it. The internet has no mercy, no breaks, absolutely no shame. The drama escalated when a rumor spread that Jake Paul's team had somehow seen the leaked footage early. Commentary pages claimed Jake watched it with a grin like a villain in a Marvel after-credits scene. Someone tweeted, "Jake watching a J-Train like he's already buying victory champagne." And Jake liked the tweet within minutes. That like caused a full-scale meltdown in the boxing community. Jake eventually posted a video smirking into the camera, saying he don't look ready. That one sentence had more impact than some championship fights. AJ fans went into panic mode. Jake fans went into party mode. Neutral fans opened popcorn. Even AJ's coaches reportedly raised eyebrows, because the last thing they wanted was Jake feeling confident enough to talk trash at sunrise. But then another piece of footage leaked. AJ blasting the heavy bag with enough force to shift the Earth's rotation. He looked monstrous, furious, sharp. Punches echoed like thunderclaps. People said the bag looked traumatized. Twitter started calling it the funeral rehearsal. And just like that, public opinion shifted again. Suddenly, people were posting things like, Jake Paul should reconsider his hobbies, and this man AJ is punching like he's trying to delete the influencer industry. But the chaos didn't end there. Journalists began publishing think pieces with sensational titles like, "Is boxing ready for Jake Paul as a contender?" and "Anthony Joshua's pride on the line." What day one means. The articles meant nothing but stirred everything. Comment sections looked like political debates, except the politicians were shirtless men with boxing gloves. A few pundits claimed Jay's first day looked too intense, too emotional, as if he was training angry instead of training smart. They warned that emotions could be Jake Paul's secret weapon. That theory lasted for minutes before fans tore it apart like coupons. Nobody believed Jake Paul had the power to outsmart AJ emotionally. Physically, maybe. Emotionally, never. Even old boxing legends chimed in. Mike Tyson said AJ needed to stay disciplined, which the internet interpreted as Tyson warning AJ not to swing wildly. One commentator joked, "If Tyson is telling you to stay calm, you know chaos is coming." And in the middle of all this noise, Jake Paul posted another message, "We spar tomorrow." It wasn't clear what he meant, but that didn't matter. Fans interpreted it as a taunt. Boxing pages screenshot it. Reporters debated it. The entire internet spiraled into hysteria because Jake had mastered the art of saying almost nothing and causing maximum disruption. AJ saw the message too. He didn't respond verbally, but the next leaked clip said everything. He was on the double-end bag, moving fast, focused, vicious. Every hit looked like retaliation. Every move looked like preparation for a demolition job. Trainers were yelling instructions with military-level urgency. AJ looked like a man who wasn't just training, he was avenging something. Online reactions doubled in intensity. People said AJ looked scary. Others said he looked possessed. One viral post claimed he was moving like someone told him Jake stole his Wi-Fi password. The hyperbole was ridiculous. But it didn't matter, it was trending. Meanwhile, Jake released a training clip of himself hitting pads with fast combinations, smiling like he knew a secret. His fans said he looked sharp. AJ's fans said he looked like he was practicing for a TikTok dance, neutral. Fans said the fight was starting to feel less like boxing and more like a crossover event sponsored by chaos. Celebrities pushed it further. Snoop Dogg said he wanted front row seats to the most unserious, serious fight in history. Logan Paul declared Jake would shock the world, because of course he did family loyalty over logic. Shannon Briggs yelled, "Let's go, champ!" on Instagram for no reason other than existing in the same universe as a fight announcement, and the wildest twist arrived when leaked. Footage showed a Jay's coach talking about Jake's weaknesses, including his predictable overhand and his YouTube habits. People didn't know what YouTube habits meant, but it went viral anyway. Someone tweeted, "Jake Paul got exposed for having YouTube habits," and the algorithm threw confetti. The chaos spiraled so hard it felt like the world forgot. This was only a Jay's first day of camp. But that's the thing about modern boxing, the drama outside the ring. Hits harder than half the punches inside it. But none of this compared to what came next. Because the aftermath of these leaks would push the pressure, the stakes, and the insanity to levels nobody was ready for. And when day 2 arrived, the boxing world realized day 1 was just the warm dash-up. The morning after the leaked clips, the boxing world woke up acting like someone dropped World War news instead of training camp footage. Headlines everywhere screamed disaster or dominance, depending on which fan base paid their Wi-Fi bill on time. Half the internet said AJ looked ready to reclaim the heavyweight throne. The other half said he looked like a stressed-out Uber driver trying to avoid Jake Paul, pulling a 3-star rating on his whole career. Nobody agreed on anything except one fact: the situation was spiraling into something way bigger than a fight. AJ walked into camp with a face so serious it made the heavy bags reconsider their purpose in life. Everyone sensed it. The trainers spoke softer, the assistants moved quicker, and even the floor squeaked less, as if it didn't want to disturb whatever emotional tsunami AJ brought with him. Yesterday's chaos hovered in the air like a thundercloud. AJ didn't look embarrassed or shaken. He looked motivated in a way that made everyone silently pray. They weren't selected as the next sparring partner, but the consequences were already rolling in. Reporters questioned AJ's composure, suggesting the pressure of fighting a YouTuber might be heavier than facing seasoned champions. Pundits debated whether pride was clouding his focus. Fans argued non-stop, turning every small detail into a global crisis. Even sports betting sites shifted odds back and forth like the fight was being decided by a roulette wheel instead of punches. This wasn't boxing news anymore. This was entertainment chaos set on fire. Jake Paul was loving every second of it. He went online, smirking into the camera like a villain who just got the script rewrite he wanted. He teased that AJ looked overworked, underconfident, and not ready for the problem child. The audacity alone nearly sent boxing purists into retirement. They watched Jake's videos with disgust, anger, and just enough curiosity to keep the algorithm flooded. Jake's confidence wasn't strategy, it was gasoline, and he was pouring it everywhere. Meanwhile, AJ remained silent, which only fueled the drama. Silence in combat sports is almost never peaceful. Silence means pressure. Silence means plotting. Silence means a man is either sharpening his weapons or questioning every decision he's made since 2016. Fans couldn't tell which version AJ was living in, and the uncertainty drove them crazy. They needed answers. They needed clarity. They needed something to prove AJ wasn't spiraling under the weight of a meme-driven opponent. That clarity came during a closed-door session that wasn't supposed to leak, but of course it did. A short clip surfaced showing AJ demolishing a sparring partner with combinations so violent the clip went viral within minutes. People said AJ was hitting like he wanted to delete the internet's opinions from existence. Trainers in the background were practically praying. Nobody watching missed the message. AJ wasn't collapsing, he was transforming. The clip shifted public perception instantly. Fans shouted that the heavyweight monster was back. Critics admitted AJ looked dangerous. Even Jake Paul fans got quiet for a moment, a rare miracle. But the calm didn't last long. Jake responded with a video of him training explosively, smiling confidently, acting like everything AJ did was expected and unimpressive. And somehow, that smile reignited the chaos. Everyone knew Jake wasn't backing down. If anything, he was doubling down. Meanwhile, inside AJ's camp, the atmosphere grew heavier. Coaches began pushing harder, knowing the world was watching every bead of sweat fall from AJ's forehead. They weren't just training him to win. They were training him to avoid humiliation so massive it could crash the entire heavyweight timeline. AJ's punches grew sharper, his footwork quicker, his focus colder. He moved like a man who accepted the challenge but refused to accept the consequences of losing. Outside the gym, the ripple effect was reaching unexpected places. Promoters felt the pressure. Networks sensed the stakes. But the consequences weren't just public. They were personal. AJ knew that a single misstep in this fight could haunt him forever. Training camp became less about Jake Paul and more about Anthony Joshua versus his own legacy. He wasn't protecting belts. He was protecting the meaning of heavyweight boxing itself. His trainers saw it in his eyes, a seriousness that didn't come from hype or promotion, but from deep internal pressure. Jake, on the other hand, used social media like a weapon. Every post, every smirk, every clip was designed to irritate, provoke, and destabilize. He joked about AJ's camp being too intense. He teased that AJ was scared of an influencer. He posted memes comparing their training sessions. And the internet ate it up because Jake Paul isn't just a fighter, he's an algorithm magician who knows how to turn chaos into power. The world watched, waiting for the next leak, the next rumor, the next meltdown. Training camps are usually private, sacred, controlled. But this one felt like a televised countdown to impact. Every day brought new footage, new arguments, new drama. Analysts debated strategy. Fans argued over strength. Influencers predicted disaster. It felt less like a fight build-up and more like a reality show finale with fists by the end of the week. One thing became undeniable. This wasn't a normal fight preparation. This was a cultural battle. A war of eras. A fight between tradition and disruption. If AJ lost, he wouldn't just lose to a man. He would lose to an entire generation of internet confidence. If Jake lost, he wouldn't just lose a fight. He'd lose the magic of his invincible influencer aura. The stakes were bigger than belts, rankings, or highlights. The stakes were identity, reputation, legacy, and as the first week of camp ended, the tension didn't fade. It sharpened because everyone realized the truth. If day one looked like that, the final fight was going to be absolute madness. The countdown had officially begun. This was bigger than boxing. This was punch press history in the making. And if you made it through this entire roller coaster of leaked footage, chaotic training clips, Jake Paul trolling the universe, and Anthony Joshua punching like he's trying to erase the influencer era from history, congratulations. You are officially part of the select few who understand the true stakes of this fight. This isn't just boxing. This isn't just entertainment. This is a cultural collision so intense it could power an entire city off the stress alone. But before the next leak drops, and trust me, it's coming, you already know the drill. Smash that like button like it owes you child support. Because every punch, every rumor, every meltdown fuels the punch press engine. Hit that subscribe button like you're clocking in for overtime on a fight night you didn't even buy tickets for. And drop a comment telling me who you think is walking out of that ring with their pride intact. The heavyweight icon, or the internet's favorite DIS. RUPTOR. Tell me your predictions. Tell me your conspiracies. Tell me whether you think Jake is delusional, dangerous, or both on alternating weekdays. Tell me whether AJ is preparing for battle or preparing for therapy. I read everything, the wise comments, the delusional ones, and especially the unhinged ones. This is a community powered by chaos, and your voice is part of the storm. And remember, drama doesn't sleep here. Every training clip, every rumor, every eyebrow raise from either camp becomes a headline. When the next twist hits, we'll be right here breaking it down with maximum disrespect and premium commentary. This is Punch Press, where the hits are heavy, the jokes are savage, and the drama is always undefeated. Stay tuned, the next bombshell is already loading.